Hi, Tim from Proclaim AV here, and today we're doing a video based on a question by one of our viewers. Let's check it out. So today's question comes from Luis, and he writes, "Hi Tim, great job on YouTube regarding the 600 megahertz wireless mics, but I'm still a little confused and wonder if you can help me." Well, let's see if we can't straighten this out. My 600 megahertz wireless mic videos are kind of in depth, and so let's just break it down kind of at a simple level about what's happening. Now, I will preface this by saying we're talking about 600 megahertz wireless mics in the United States. So if you're watching from another country, this may not affect you and probably won't. Now, 600 megahertz is just a space, a radio frequency space where television channels operate here in the US. But the FCC has sold it, and they've sold it to cell phone companies. And so by doing that, they make sure that everybody who's using it has to vacate it. They can't use those frequencies anymore. They have to leave them. And that includes television stations. You'll see they're represented by the orange bars in the 600 megahertz. Those television stations are going to have to move as well. And so what happens when the mobile data takes over is that those are going to move to different channels. Here you can see I've moved them over into the 400 megahertz. Now every market is different and things are going to move around. Now that we have that basic thing down, let's look at how this affects wireless users, wireless mic users. So you see here I've added W columns in empty TV channels there, spaces where the wireless mics can operate. And that's fine. They're happy. They can operate. There's no TV channels there. But now that things are sold off, you can see that we have some wireless mics in the sold area, which means we're not going to be able to use those anymore if they're in that 600 megahertz block, where it's not going to be legal to use wireless mics in that block anymore. And to compound things, when we move the TV stations over to the 400 megahertz side there, you can see that now they're potentially interfering with wireless mics that were okay. So that's not going to work either. And of course, we're going to have to move potentially legal mics around to different spaces just because a TV station has now appeared in a space that was previously open and let us run wireless mics there. So let's sum up what the FCC has to say about this and what our time looks like. And so let's read from their website here. Wireless microphones that operate in the new 600 megahertz service band, 617 to 652 megahertz, 663 to 698 megahertz, will be required to cease operation no later than July 13, 2020. So what they're doing is they're moving the cell phone companies into the new frequency that they've bought, but anybody who's in there, unlicensed users, like wireless mic users, have to move out of that frequency. And trust me, you're not going to want to keep using your 600 megahertz wireless gear. I was helping out a church the other day, and they were having interference problems because some of their mics are in the 600 megahertz wireless area. And all these cell phone users are pretty soon going to be, walking into your event with their phone, and their phone potentially is going to be operating in the 600 megahertz range, especially if they're a T-Mobile customer. So that can be a real problem. So what does that mean? It means that, unfortunately, you have to buy new gear in approved frequencies. And that's not a lot of fun. It's hard on the budget, I understand. But that's what has to be done, unfortunately. So, Luis, I hope that answers your question. Thanks for watching.